I'm Melissa Parsons from the University of New England. In this video, I'll take you through the main features of the dashboard and how you can use those to explore disaster resilience in Australia. First up though, it's important to know about the structure of the index. And there are 3 levels to the index: 8 factors of disaster resilience, coping and adaptive capacity, and an overall measure of disaster resilience. The indexes for each of these levels are accessed through different parts of the dashboard. So use the Maps and Data page to explore disaster resilience, coping capacity, and adaptive capacity. And you can select which of these you'd like to use along the top. You can then scroll around the map and click on different locations to explore disaster resilience. Each area is an SA2 from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and there are over 2,000 of these around Australia. Each has been assessed as having high, moderate or low capacity for disaster resilience. The box on the left-hand side here lets you select the areas of interest to you and generate a report about disaster resilience. So you can select areas using the lists here, or you can select them from the map. And there's another user guide about selecting areas if you need more detail. But for now, let's just say that we want to know about the disaster resilience of the Hobart area. Click on Hobart. What that does is to bring up a list of all of the SA2s in that Hobart area. This is an important step. You need to then clear the map because we're really only interested in those in the Hobart area, and then reselect all of those SA2s in Hobart. Once that area is selected, and you can see that there are 34 of those SA2s around Hobart, generate a report. That brings up the data for the Hobart area in a tabular form and tells you which class each of those SA2 falls into. You can also download that information as a PDF using the Download PDF button. To explore the 8 factors that make up disaster resilience, use the Disaster Resilience Factors page. The research work behind the index put all of the SA2s around Australia into 5 groups, and each group has a different disaster resilience profile based on the mix of those 8 disaster resilience factors. So depending on the group, some factors support the capacity for disaster resilience, while other factors tend to form barriers or constraints to achieving disaster resilience. And the mix of those factors differs by group. Again, the box on the left-hand side lets you select the areas of interest to you and to generate a report about disaster resilience factors. So for now, let's just say that we want to know about the disaster resilience profiles in South Australia. So click on South Australia. That then brings up a list of all of the SA2s in South Australia. Clear the map because we really just want to focus in on South Australia, and then reselect all of the SA2s in South Australia. And you can see that there's 162 of those selected. Generate a report then brings up all of that data as a tabular form and shows the group to which each SA2 belongs and the disaster resilience strengths and disaster resilience barriers that are associated with that group. These graphs can be used to examine the SA2s in more detail, and they give an indication of disaster resilience factors for an SA2 in relation to the state and national medians for the same group. And again, you can download this information and save it using the download PDF button.